A lot of you guys had questions about moving when you're in the military, so I figure I would just answer as many as I possibly could. Now, months before the movers, once we had a date that the movers were actually going to come, then I did start purging things, getting rid of things that we weren't going to keep, and organizing a little bit. And then, of course, y'all know the black totes with the yellow top. I am a big fan of those. And so I would start just kind of pre-packing, if you will, some things. Not a lot, just enough to make me feel like the movers wouldn't be so overwhelmed, but I'm sure they've moved more shit than I have. So the moving crew that we had this time was phenomenal. Royal Hawaiian Movers is who is packing all this up. And then is what will happen is, since we don't have an actual address for it to go to in Virginia yet, they will get it on the mainland in California. It will go in storage there. And then once we notify them that, hey, we want it moved here, then I guess they will either truck it, take it by train, I don't know, across the United States to get it in Virginia to us. So anything that you own, they're going to either put it in a box, they're going to wrap it in that brown paper, and then they're going to write usually your information on the side of the box and all that good stuff. But I go a step further. If you see those white labels that are on everything that I own, I printed my own stickers that have my name, my husband's name, where we are retiring from, Marine Corps Base Hawaii to Lynchburg, Virginia, and it has our emails, phone numbers, all that on it. That way, if something was to get separated, missing, whatever, maybe somebody finds it, I don't know, on the side of the road, then perhaps they would be able to notify us to get it back. They also, if you're familiar with military moves, there's these little stickers, and they stick them on every box, and every box is numbered. It is a very organized process. They have a sheet. As they load each box, they're marking it off to make sure that they, the company, they know that that box was loaded in that crate. And then when you receive your stuff on the other end, then you have another sheet. And then as the boxes are coming off, you'll mark them off to make sure that you are receiving them. I personally think, yes, I have a lot of stuff. I like stuff, okay? But I personally tried to just make it as seamless as possible. Closets were packed already. I didn't pack my kitchen up because I wanted them, again, to be responsible for anything that was breakable, so that I can claim it on the other end if it's broken. But things that, clothes, items like that I could pack in totes or either put in those airtight bags, and that's exactly what I did. And then when they got here, it was relatively cut and dry. They just had to start packing. They did an amazing job. I cannot say that enough. So on the first day, they brought 3 empty crates, and they never really know how many crates you're going to need until they start seeing how much stuff you have. They brought 3 empty crates, and so for several hours, the 3 of them that were here, they packed and labeled and all that good stuff, and then they kind of staged your boxes out in the driveway, and then after a couple hours of all of them packing, then they start loading the crates. And they've all been doing this long enough to where they know how many boxes are going to fit in a crate. The next day, they brought 4 more crates and got the majority of the stuff. And then the last day, yesterday, it was 5 more crates. So I had a total of 12 crates that were loaded, which may seem like an astronomical amount of shit for some people. But we came here with 15 crates, but it was not packed as good as these people packed. I mean, this was like a true Tetris game that they played, and I'm thrilled at how it was all loaded. Anything that you own that is antique, expensive, that has high value, not like a memento unless it was worth a lot of money, but things that are worth maybe over $500, they do account for those on what's called a high value sheet. So my husband's guitars, my Buddha statue, we had some artwork, things like that, my KitchenAid mixer, things that cost over $500, they will put on this sheet, and they take special care of everything, but probably more so those items. My Buddha statue, obviously I could not get another one of those, and so I did have a conversation early on that I would like a special crate built for that. So they did actually build a special crate for Buddha, so he was snug and secure in his own little crate. So yes, the military does pay to move you even when you retire. When you retire, they will pay to move you as far as your home of record. Your home of record is usually the town that you joined the military in. So for us, we decided that we wanted to go back to Virginia to be with our family. So yes, they are paying to take it back to exactly where he joined from 27 years ago. But let's say that you were here in Hawaii and your home of record was California, but you and your family wanted to move to Texas. Then they would take away, they would pay for the length of the trip to California, but then you would be responsible for the mileage from California to Texas. So you could potentially have to pay some if you were moving farther than what your home of record mileage was. Now, for us, because we don't have a house on the other end yet, then our stuff is going to make it to California on the mainland, and then it is going to go into a storage unit. And then when we request it, that, hey, we have an address, and they won't store it forever, usually a year. And God knows we don't want it to sit in storage for a year. But whenever we're ready for it in Virginia, we will request it with our moving coordinator, and then they will get it transported across the United States to Virginia. The amount of stuff that I have, like I say, is a lot, and you are allowed a weight allowance. To me, personally, we've talked about this before, usually people go over their weight allowance when they have a whole lot of stuff like boats, motorcycles, ATVs, things like that. We don't have any of that stuff. We did not go over the weight allowance, and we are leaving here with way less than what we came here with. And yes, I did air tag my things. There is some controversial debate over that. Some companies don't like it, but really, I don't think anybody's give anybody any problems with it since air tags have become a thing, because you're not going to stop people from doing it, and people just want to obviously track their stuff. So I don't give a damn what they say about it. Like, you can pry them air tags out of my cold ass dead body, but that stuff that left there yesterday, air tags for days. I mean, all up in that shit. Now, clearly, I won't have like the absolute opinion over whether this was a great move or not until I get my stuff and actually make sure it's not missing or damaged. But this particular packing up process was the best, hands down, we've had. They were, like I said, I cannot praise the crew enough. They were like my family after 3 days, and I wish them all the many blessings life has to offer, because movers work hard as shit, and these guys busted ass. I mean, they did an amazing job. But if you got any more questions, you're free to ask me. I think I summed up pretty much everything people have been asking, though. Toodaloo.